Thank you guys for the lovely Star Spangled Banner. Now I'd like to welcome the Meta Theater Company up to do the performance of Hello, My Name Is.
Hello, we are the Meta Theater Company, and we are very excited today to do Hello, My Name Is. Why are we excited to do this? Because this is the first time we've ever read this work out loud. And I know probably when I say that phrase, you're thinking, big deal, right? So what, you're reading this out loud the first time. But I think it's because it's the story behind how we got this play. So I just want to recognize Machise Wind, who was playing music as you were coming in. We know Machise because the Meta Theater Company has been going to the Edna Mann Women's Correctional Facility since October 2014. We go weekly. Machise also has a program there. He has a music program. We have a theater program. So Machise works with women to write songs about their experience and write songs about many different things. And we use theater as a way to help women get clear on their stories and get healing through that process. But we don't just stop there. We really want to then perform their work in the community as a way to expand knowledge and education around women in incarceration. So, and then what we're hoping is, just like our tagline says, when the curtain falls, community action begins. We want you to join us in creating a more transformative healing process for women in incarceration. So we know the research shows that when women experience community violence, domestic violence, sexual assault in their life before incarceration, it raises the risk to incarceration. And that's what we're seeing in Edna Mann. Then what happens is, in the larger systems of the criminal justice system, sentencing laws are extremely punitive. So we see women who kill their abuser and do 30 years without the possibility of parole. And there's no accountability on the, I'm not saying that a life is not important, and that somebody should take accountability for what they did. But the criminal justice system does not take accountability in the fact that the cops showed up at her house 5 times before she killed her abuser in retaliatory violence, and they just told him to stop it. So where do we need to do the work, right? And the other thing is that we're really hoping that as we do this today and we have a discussion after the show, we all can come up with ideas about how to welcome women back into their communities. Because right now in New Jersey, money is zilch for reentry. They're given absolutely, very little resources to try to make it go, and it's a setup for sabotage. Thankfully, RVCC goes in and they teach college classes, and all of the women in our group have taken advantage of that, and they will be leaving with associate degrees, which is fantastic. But not everybody's doing that, so we need more of that, right? So as you're watching the play today, I want you to know that it first came from an idea from Bernadette Contreras-Knoll. We do a cabaret show called Rise, and one of the vignettes was called Hello, My Name Is, about a young girl who comes from Venezuela with her family at a very young age. And it was a story about how she has to live in 2 worlds, keeping her ties to her Latina culture, and then also being Americanized, which is code for being white. Right? And so that was sort of the scene. And when we took it to Edna Mann, the women, it just resonated with them for many different reasons. And then we found that they wanted to expand the characters, and they kept expanding it out into a play. So today you're going to see the first draft of that. Yes, there'll probably be moments where you're like, hey, there's a big hole there, or hey, what is going to happen with this character? I'm just asking you to take a leap of faith with us, to know that we've only been working on this with them for 8 weeks. And we're going to keep going, and our whole goal is to have it in a full-fledged production. We're going to do it in the prison, and then we're going to do it outside. But we'd like for you to think about what are the things that you're seeing in this play that fit in with the cycle of violence and women incarceration, and how does that link to colonization, white privilege, and mass incarceration? So I give you Hello, My Name Is.
Prequel, back in Venezuela. This scene opens in the countryside in beautiful Venezuela. A young couple, Mariposa, 16, and Chino, 17, have managed to find a few minutes respite from their chores and family obligations and have snuck off for a picnic, just the two of them. They spread their threadbare blanket on the lush green grass under the majestic Palma Llanera and lay intertwined, gazing together at the infinite sky, filled with a lifetime of possibilities, hopes, and dreams. Mariposa and Chino have known each other their whole lives. They dream of a better life in the United States and are trying to figure out how they will get there.
How do you feel about this place?
What place? Venezuela?
No, where we are right now.
I love it. When we can just get away and spend time together, away from our families.
I can't wait to turn 18 so I can find a better life in America.
What are you talking about? Are you going to leave me in Venezuela?
No, you are coming with me.
How are we going to survive in the Estados Unidos?
Well, I know from my uncle that finding work is no problemo. And to be honest with you, I have been saving my money.
How much money you have saved up?
Well, I have a nice amount.
What is a nice amount?
Just know it's enough to pick up and leave Venezuela, and I'm ready to leave and start a better life with you.
Where did you get the money, Chi?
I've been on my grind.
What do you mean, on your grind?
I've been selling drugs to get us out of this place. I want us to have a better future, and I'm ready to leave here and start a new life.
You promised me you wait until I'm 18, please.
I promise.
Te amo, mi amor.
Damn.
Scene, first day of school. In this scene, Luz, Mariposa and Chino's oldest daughter, is just starting school in the U.S. She has been registered for the first grade at Trenton Public Elementary School. She is 7 years old and has just arrived in the U.S. She can speak a little English, but not much. The classroom is neat and clean with little desks lined up facing the blackboard. Ms. Siegel has written, "Welcome, our new friend Luz Ramirez," in big balloon letters and multicolored chalk on the blackboard. A tattered poster is stapled to the bulletin board on the right wall of the room. A little kitten clutches a tree branch with the caption, "Hang in there." There are 30 students in the class, all of them at least a year younger than Luz. The teacher, Ms. Siegel, who's white in her 20s, is standing by Luz at her desk, addressing the students.
Hey,
I'm tired of friends.
listen up. Keep this
I'll take it. Okay, today I have some exciting news. We have a new friend in our class today. I want to introduce to you our friend, Luz Ramirez.
Luz.
I'm sorry, what dear?
Luz.
Oh, now you'll get your chance in 1 minute to introduce yourself. Okay, friends, what do we do to welcome a new friend?
We sing our welcome song.
Oh, yes, everyone stand up.
Who is this? Who is this? This is our friend Luz. Stand up, turn around.
Everyone say,
Hi, Luz. Welcome to our class today.
Oh, very good, friends. That was a wonderful welcome. Okay, Luz, it's your turn. Say hello to your new friends.
Hola, me llamo Luz Ramírez de Paloma. Tengo mi hermana y mi hermanito. Yo me quiero mucho, mi mami y mi papi.
Okay, dear. In English.
English.
Yes.
Hello. My name is Luz Ramírez de Paloma.
Okay. We say our name in English.
English. My name is Luz Ramírez de Paloma.
Yes, of course, dear. But I have it in my roster. It's Luz Ramirez. And this form only has space for one last name.
Pero mi nombre, my name is Luz.
Yes.
Ramírez.
Here,
Mi madre,
we
mi padre.
only use one name.
Oh, only one name? School, we only have one name. Oh, okay. Hello. Like this?
Yes.
My name is Luz Ramirez. No, okay. Hello. My name is Luz Ramirez. Yes, Luz Ramirez.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Friends, we need to work with Luz on her vowel sounds. U is pronounced how? Try it again, Luz. Now hold on, dear. You must not get excited. These are the rules, and you must listen to the rules. Friends, let's help Luz understand what our classroom rule is.
Listen to the teacher.
Okay? This is what you do in school? See, listen to the teacher. That is the rule. Lo siento. Hello. My name is Luz. I mean Luz. Luz Ramirez.
Oh, great. Friends, who will be Luz's desk partner? Oh, great. Thank you, Michael.
Scene, coming home. In this scene, Luz is 14, her younger sister Sandra is 12, and her younger brother Juancito is 4. They've been in the country for 7 years. Her father, Chino, is in jail for selling drugs, a holdover from the business he started in Venezuela to fund their flight. Her mommy, Mariposa, is trying to hold the family together. Luz enters the kitchen, the orange tile behind the stove speckled with grease, pots and pans stacked precariously on the counter. The floral pattern on the linoleum floor is worn through in spots from years of different families passing through, trying to take their shot at the American dream. Mommy is standing in the ancient gas stove stirring the pot of rice and beans, a mainstay in the family meals. Juancito is crying in his high chair next to the stove. Sandra is sitting at the avocado green formica table, the center of all the family life, working on her homework. Mommy picks Juancito up and tries to console him as she continues to stir the pot.
Hola, Mami.
Hola, hija.
Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Luz.
¿Y qué pasó con Juancito?
No sé, he just started crying. I'm trying to cook dinner, help your sister with her homework, and
Mami, no preocupado. I know Juancito. Pero Mami, he's burning up.
ay, Dios mío, he's hot. I thought it was because the hot stove. Luz, I need to go to the store and get him some medicine. You need to finish this supper.
Pero Mami, I have a proyecto, a project I have to do for school. I need to finish it for tomorrow.
Sí, mija, no preocupado. You just give me back Juancito and dinner will be ready in no time.
Luz,
See?
my teacher wants me to learn about what is special about mi familia, and I thought
Juancito begins to cry louder than ever. Luz jumps up and with a concerned smile takes over from Mommy.
Luz, don't worry, mi amorcita. I can do this.
Mami está bien. I have him. Oh, he's calming down already. Now go to the store and get him some medicine.
Pero
Mami,
sí,
go.
pero la comida.
Mami, I can do it.
See, I know you can. In a few weeks, you're going to be 15, quinceañera. It's going to be a great party for you. Celebrating becoming a young woman.
And Mom, I told you about that. I don't think I want to have that. What I really want to have is a sweet 16 like the other kids.
Okay, well, so I guess I just go to the pharmacy and now and get the medicine, and I will come back before I know it.
Mommy, the expression is, I will be back before you know it. Te quiero, Mommy.
Te quiero, Lucita. Oh, sí, mi amorcita. Ay, calor. Y tú también, Sandra.
bye, Mommy. In mi familia, I mean, in my family, we take care of each other.
Scene, Sandra's dilemma. In this scene, Sandra is 12. Her best friend Mary lives in the same apartment building. They visit each other by climbing up the fire escape. Mary is 13 and her brother John is 17. Sandra and her family are sitting around the green formica table in the kitchen. The rice and beans are simmering in the pot on the old stove. Mommy is discussing Upward Bound for Lucy, a name Luz calls herself outside of the family. Upward Bound is a federally funded program to help students who go to college when one or more parents have not graduated from college. Lucy would live on college for 2 months and take classes. At the end of her senior year, she would be eligible for assistance through Upward Bound to complete college applications and financial aid and scholarship applications. Sandra is frustrated because ever since Juancito was born and Lucy started planning for her future, Sandra has felt lonely and invisible. After storming out of the kitchen, almost knocking over the chair, Sandra stomps to her room and straight out onto the fire escape. Sandra climbs down to the fire escape and stops at her best friend Mary's place, tears pouring down her face. Mary is Caribbean American and lives in the apartment with her mom and her 17-year-old brother, John John. Mary is so excited to hear the knock, she runs out to the window to open it.
Oh, Sandy! Oh my goodness, why are you crying?
I'm so sick and tired of being my mother's personal babysitter, Lucy's kid sister, and the abuela's darling.
What's wrong? You miss your puppy?
See, but that's not it, Mary.
What is it?
Mary hugs Sandra and walks over to her bed. They are both crying.
What is it then? Tell me.
I hate my life here. I just want to leave and go far away.
Don't talk like that.
It's true. I just want someone to love me.
I love you, too. Papa loves you. How about you write to Papi and tell him you love him and miss him?
I always try to write to mi papi. Mi madre is loca. She never sends my letters to us. I am going loca. Mary, where's John John?
In his room. Why do you want my brother?
I just want to have some fun.
So why do you need John John?
Please, Mary?
No.
Please,
No.
just this one
No.
time, I
No.
swear.
No. I don't like this idea.
Mary sucks her teeth. Sandra and Mary walk out of her room and knock hard on John John's door.
What?
Sandra wants to smoke.
And you're telling me this why?
Because you have that damn weed, John John. Now don't make me tell
Shut your
Mommy that
mouth.
you're...
Smoke and don't talk.
Mary leaves. John John pushes Sandra out onto the fire escape and then climbs out behind her.
Hurry up and let's make this quick. Why are you crying? All I said was make this quick. If my mother catches me out here, she'll kick my black ass.
I'm not crying because of you.
So what are you crying for?
I'm crying for mi papi.
John John does a keep your chin up move to Sandra and pulls out the weed. He hands it to her, lights it, and tells her to hurry up. John John climbs back into the window, leaving Sandra out there all alone. Scene: Trenton State Correctional Facility for Men. In this scene, Papi and his bunkie Luis, aka Los, are sitting in the mess hall having lunch. The mess hall is green cinder blocks and cement floor with metal bench tables arranged in rows. The men sit at a long table, pushing around the gray slop on their metal plates. Papi is in a depressed state about being unable to reach his family via phone calls and is slumped over his plate.
Hey, Papa Chulo, what's happening?
Nothing, just here.
Have you spoke to your wife and Bambinos yet?
No, not yet. Every time I call the phone, sis, they do not accept collect calls, so I feel like giving up.
No, man, don't give up. I mean, you never gave up in the streets to be who you are, so don't give up on your family.
I just don't know how. Of course, I know how to sell drugs, pull guns, and do my dirt, but I don't know. I don't know how to be a father.
Neither do I. But once I got in a relationship with the man upstairs and asked him to direct my steps, hey, even though I got locked up, I'm still a great father. I put in for a PCR, and I gave 10 years lock. And I get out in 2 years.
2 years? Do you think I could have a chance?
Yeah, I do. But promise me, or promise yourself, not to give up on your family.
Scene: Mommy talks to Sandra. In this scene, Sandra has just left John John and is sneaking back into her apartment. Mommy's motherly instincts have nudged her to check in on Sandra because she had been acting secretly and rebellious lately. Mommy knocks on Sandra's door, calls her name when she does not answer. Mommy enters the room and wonders where Sandra is at this time of night. She calls Mary, but her messages go to voicemail. She tries to not stress, but can't help it. She plays the waiting game. Restless, she sits on a still-made bed, then in the chair, and then begins to pace back and forth across the floor. Picking up a well-loved teddy bear, in memory of a happier time, she throws it across the room. Finally, she hears Sandra out on the fire escape. Sandra eases the window up, trying not to make any noise. She steps in the room and is startled to see Mommy.
What are you doing in my room?
I pay the rent, remember?
I bet you don't spy on your precious Lucy.
Where have you been, Sandra? I've been worried sick about you. You realize what time it is? It's 11:30 at night, and here you're coming through the window. You're failing in school, and you've never even gotten a C before. What is going on with you?
Mommy, I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe I just miss Papi.
I have had enough. I work 2 jobs and take care of you, your sister, and your brother. You think Papi has sent us money? You think Papi cares about what happens to us? Papi is worried about Papi.
Mommy, you don't understand. I just want to know Papi is okay. Why are you doing this to me?
Adios, ayúdanos.
Mommy takes an envelope from Papi out of her pocket. Sandra jumps off the bed and grabs it out of Mommy's hand.
You want to know how your father is? Here he is. You listen to his lies in this letter, you're going to end up just like him. You need to be more like Luz. She is able to move on, do good in school. She has left Poppy behind, and you need to too.
Mommy walks out of the room, leaving Sandra sitting on the bed with the letter.
My dearest Sandra, I miss you and I love you. I have been trying to call you, but I can't get through. I know you are at school now, and there are many temptations like drugs and sex. Please, my darling baby girl, be smart, stay focused. Please write me back and know my love is always surrounding you. I love you. Love your Poppy.
Scene, Sandra and John John. In this scene, it is a week later. Sandra can't help herself and sneaks back to see John John and smoke more pot, despite her letter from Poppy urging her to stay away. John John is laying on his bed with music up loud, poster plasters the walls, Jay-Z blaring on the speaker. He knows it is wrong to smoke with Sandra, his sister's friend, but he doesn't really care. He considers himself a true gangster. His motive for giving Sandra the weed was to get her to come back again, to get high, and to entice her to have sex with him. And his plan works. A week later, when she knew Mary was out, Sandra was knocking at his door. John John looks out through the glass before opening the door. He mutters to himself, I knew she'd be back.
What's up? Mary isn't here.
I know she's not. I was wondering if you had any more of that shit.
Yeah, I've got more. The shit ain't free.
You won't get it in trouble.
So how do I know that?
It will be our secret.
First, you have to smoke with me before I give you some.
Okay. Let me in.
John John moves to the side and lets Sandra in. He locks the door and leads her to his room. After smoking a whole blunt, Sandra goes into the bathroom and comes out completely naked.
What are you doing?
I told you I was going to keep it a secret.
Secret isn't fucking me?
Yes. Don't you want it like I want it?
You're bugging. It's the weed talking. Go put your clothes back on.
I'm okay. I've wanted to do this since the first time I met you.
Do what?
To fuck you.
John John wanted it more than she could imagine. He keeps his cool and allows her to think she is the captain of the ship. He lays down on the bed and lets her undress him. Scene, 3 months later. In this scene, Sandra has had her 13th birthday and is officially a weedhead. She is smoking morning, noon, and night. She is even sneaking into the girls' room during class to smoke. Sandra and John John are together whenever they get the chance. Her grades are slipping even more, and Mary is furious at her brother and her best friend. She is no longer speaking to Sandra. John John has just picked up Sandra in his car. She does not know where they are going.
John, where are you going?
Just sit back and smoke that blunt, you good little girl. Got business to take care of.
Sandra shuts up and smokes the blunt. She knows that when John John says he has business to take care of, it means a big pickup. A white man in his 20s, who looks very hard from the streets, comes to the car.
Hey, Johnny J, you want the regular or more, bro?
We want more.
Who the hell is this broad? She your bitch? Tell her I ain't asking her nothing.
Shut the hell up, Sam. You know this guy, you don't know this guy to be coming out of your mouth like that.
That's right, Johnny J. Keep your bitch in line.
Stay put. Give me your book bag and that $400 you have in your purse.
Sandra doesn't say anything, just hands her money and book bag over to John John. John John gets out of the car and pops some drugs. Sandra curses him under her breath, making sure he doesn't hear her, knowing he would slap her mouth if he did. John John comes back to the car holding her book bag. He orders her to pop the trunk and he throws the bag in back.
When I take you somewhere with me, you keep your mouth closed. You hear me?
Yes, Dad.
That's my good little girl. Spark that blunt for Daddy.
They pull up to the local bodega to get more blunts for his weed. Sandra stays in the car, holding vigil.
So, where do you want to go?
Let's go to your place. Mary don't pay me any burden anyway.
John John pulls over to the side of the road, pops the trunk, grabs the book bag, throws it on the floor, and then peels off. When he pulls up to the red light, a cop car pulls up behind him. Panicking, he stuffs the bag under Sandra's seat. The cops suspect something is going on and turn on their siren. The cop walks up to John John's window and asks for his license. John John, knowing his license has been suspended, takes off, leading the cops on a high-speed chase.
Stop! John, you're going to get us killed.
No, if they find the drugs in the car, I'm going to get locked up.
Just-
I'm 18.
Just stop the car, baby. I'll tell him it's my bag. I'm only 13. What kind of trouble could I get in? I'm sure it will be okay. Just stop the car before you kill us both.
Promise me you'll take the rap and we'll stop the car.
Don't worry, Daddy. I love you and I'll prove it.
John pulls over. The cops draw their guns and order Sandra and John out of the car. When they pick up the book bag, Sandra tells them it's hers. In the bag are drugs, paraphernalia, and a gun. Both are taken to the station. Sandra is charged with possession and carrying a concealed weapon. John is charged with resisting arrest. Sandra is sent to prison with a mandatory 6-year sentence. John is given 1 year probation. Scene. After Sandra's incarceration, Triton State Correctional Facility for men. Poppy and Los are sitting in their cell. Poppy has just received a notice from the DOC informing him that his daughter Sandra is in detention.
I can't believe this!
What? What's wrong?
This!
Poppy throws the envelope at Los. Los picks up the envelope and reads.
Sandra Paloma.
I can't believe she's locked up. My little princess. I tried to tell her not to go down this road.
I know you did. Don't beat yourself up, because you did your part, but our children have free will. We can only be there for them.
My daughter Luz is doing well. She's always doing great in school, getting good grades, and she is going to college. But my Sandy does this.
Calm down. They both need the same love and were taught the same morals. Remember you tried your best, and that they have their own mind. When you calm down, write your daughter. Tell her, talk to her, and do not fuss. Send her the good book. Get her mind right. Connect her to the man upstairs. God is good all the time.
You're right.
Later on, alone in his bunk, Poppy writes a letter to Sandra.
Dear Sandra, my world, my love. I received your letter today and I can't lie. My heart is shattered seeing where you are. I want you to know I still love you. All of this isn't just your fault. Part of it is mine for not being there in your life. I've been away in prison these past years and I can only apologize for everything you needed from me in your life and you didn't get. I had a responsibility to you and your sister, brother, and mommy. I failed because of my own greed and tunnel vision. I ask for your forgiveness, but I understand if you can't give it to me, we will get through this together. Just because I am here and you are there, know I am your Poppy and I am here for you. I love you. Love, Poppy.
Scene. Conversation with Sandra in prison. Sandra's been locked up for 6 months. Luz has been avoiding her, refusing to visit. Sandra calls home. Mommy answers the phone, hears a recorded message from the prison, and accepts the charges.
Hola?
Mami, hola, ¿qué pasa?
I'm upset. How do you think I'm doing? I still don't understand how you could be so foolish.
Mommy, please, try to understand. I can't run out on my friends. I'm no snitch.
That's exactly how your Poppy got put in prison. He was smoking with an amigo and the DA busted their pork charge for his friend's stash.
But Mommy, this is different. John is more than a friend. I love him.
But does he love you? Not so much if he lets you take all the blame while he walks.
Mommy, you're wrong. He is trying to get me out. He is hiring a lawyer.
Oh, so he says. Have you seen this lawyer? Or you just heard a bunch of promises?
No, Mommy, I know he loves me. I have faith.
Hold on a second. Luz, come here and speak to your sister.
Luz?
Forget it. She chose her own way in spite of all we told her. Now she can rot in hell for all I
I
care.
know she is your sister, your own blood. Please, Amortita, for me.
All right, but only because you asked and only for 1 minute.
Luz, I'm so sorry. Please, Luz, oh God, I don't know. It was all so crazy. I thought I knew, but it got away from me.
Yeah. You. What about us? What about me? I have to hear all of the neighbors talking about you, about us. You are the local news, on the front page of the paper. How do you think that makes me feel? All you think about is yourself, what you want, how you feel. You are so selfish.
I guess you're right, but do we have to go into this right now? I'm having a rough time here. I need you to be my big sister. Please. I know I need to do some thinking about stuff, but not tonight. It's too much.
Well, if you think that's too much, you have another thing coming. While you have been locked up, John has been sleeping with everyone. So now you have something to cry about.
Luz slams down the phone.
Luz, what are you saying? How could you?
It's not true. true. It's just that she makes me crazy. I get so mad, I just want to hurt her.
Oh my God, Luce, you have to call her back and you tell her. You can't just leave it like that.
That's what I mean. She'll be so upset. What about me?
You're strong. You can take care of yourself.
Oh, I'm so sick and tired of being the strong one. I've had it.
But Luce, that's not what I meant. Come back.
Scene. Mommy and Luce discuss Sandra. Later on the same day as the call with Sandra, Luce is on the warm couch laying in the living room, her back to the room. Mommy comes into the room and sits on the edge of the couch, stroking Luce's hair. The sun has set and the only light in the room is from 2 candles flickering on the coffee table.
Talk to me, baby. This is your sister. Why must you say so angry at her?
She's such a spoiled brat thanks to you.
What? Don't blame this on me.
Well, it's true. You've always babied her, treated her like a little princesa. Well, I've been expected to take care of myself and pay my own way. Even now, I know you put money into her account.
So what? Does it take anything away from you that I help your sister? She's weak. You are strong. She needs help.
I am so sick of hearing what Sandra needs. And yes, it does take away from me if all of your time and money goes to Sandra. I don't feel like I have any family. Like I've had to raise myself.
You're just upset now. You know I love you. But your poor sister, that terrible boy, he has done this to her. All this talk and promises and that damn loco weed.
Mommy, if you ask me, she brought on herself. She just grabbed onto the first bad boy who looked her way. And why? So she could have some fun playing around. I refuse to feel sorry for her. As far as I'm concerned, she is on her own.
Don't say that. She's your sister. She needs you.
Well, I don't need her or your bullshit.
Mommy slaps Luce's face.
Luce, you are such a hard person. Your sister is a lost, wandering soul. She's caught up in the undertow and swept away.
She knows exactly what she's doing.
Have you no pity at all in your heart? You look at where she is, what she is facing. She has a long road to hoe.
And she deserves it, every bit of it.
Luce, come. You sit down here with me for just a minute, please. I want to tell you a story. When you girls were little and we first come to this country, we had a hard time. Your father and I both broke our backs working for pennies. Your father wanted to find an easier way for us because he loved us, is why he began selling drugs.
Yeah. I know the story about Poppy and the drugs.
You listen, please. At first, I begged him to stop, and then I just tried to pretend that it wasn't happening. But I was so lonely here by myself while he was out ripping and running. I started getting high with him. At first, it was just once in a while, but before long, I was smoking every day. What I'm trying to say is when your father was arrested and sent to jail, I was too. I only got caught for using, not selling, so I didn't do as much time. And you were young, and I guess you forgot. You were with Abuela at that time. Dyfus almost took you away from me completely. Your Abuela made sure you didn't go nowhere. Maybe you understand now why I help your sister and why I fuss over her. She reminds me of me at that age. I love you both, and I will make it up to you that I make you feel so neglected. Sweetheart, please, you try not to be so angry with Sandra. You please come with me Saturday to visit her. You don't have to answer me right now, but will you please just think about it?
Sure, Mommy, I'll think about it.
Scene. The sisters visit in prison. The visit takes place in a small gray room. A battered metal table in the middle of the room is bolted to the floor. Sandra is seated on one side, dressed in her prison khakis. Luce and Mommy sit next to each other across from Sandra. An officer sits in the chair by a locked door, a bored look on his face.
It's so good to see you both. I've missed you so much. How are you?
How do you think we are? I've never been so humiliated in my life. When I go to school, my friends just look at me and walk away. They don't even know what to say. Then I hear them whispering behind me. Her sister's got busted. Her sister's locked up. Oh yeah, I'd say I'm just fine.
I know it doesn't mean much right now, but it's all I've got. I'm sorry.
Well, it's not enough.
Girls, I'm gonna go get some coffee, and please, will you just remember, we are family.
I didn't mean to hurt you. You don't understand what he means to me.
How can he mean anything to you, Pendejo?
Shut up! He loves me. He's hot. He's got a car. He's got money.
You think he's so special?
He treats
he took care of me. He raped me.
The machine ain't my chain. What?
Is there a problem here?
Scene, Cinco de Mayo. In this scene, Luz, who's now 18, has just started college. She has a new friend, Gloria, who wants her to attend a party at Unión Latina, a club for Latin American students, with her.
Lucy, let's go! Unión Latina is having a kick-ass party for Cinco de Mayo.
Look, I'm not sure I really want to go.
Don't get all politically correct on me. You and your history of the world classes, blah. Yeah, okay, I know. Cinco de Mayo is a Mexican holiday. Yeah, your family's from Venezuela. But today, can you just be a good Latina and pretend to be from Mexico? Come on, all the other good Latinos
my
do it.
God.
Hey, if I, a proud Puerto Rican, can pretend for one day, I think that you can too. Okay, come on. Even Thomas is going.
Thomas, you know how I don't like Thomas. Especially when he did to Susan.
Okay, well, whatever. There's gonna be other guys there. Nice, hot, sexy Latino men. Yummy.
Me, try horny boys.
Okay, whatever. Come on, let's go.
Look, let me just do my hair.
Will you just come
my
on? You know what? Nobody's gonna notice your hair because they're all gonna be wasted by the time we get there.
Latino club music is blasting at the party. The bass is so loud it can be felt in their chest.
Is this a kick-ass party or what? What? I said, is this a kick-ass party or what?
Who's gonna kick your ass?
Oh, forget it. I'm gonna go get a drink.
Hey, get me a drink.
Yeah, whatever.
Luz finds a seat and starts texting. Miguel plops down next to her.
Hey, Lucy! Or should I say Luz?
And who are you?
I am in your creative writing class.
But why are you calling me Luz?
Isn't that your name?
Yes, but I haven't been called that in years.
You don't remember me, do you?
No, I don't. Now tell me, who the hell are you?
Does this ring a bell? Then the angel of God came down to Mary and asked her to be the mother of Jesus.
You mean Jesus? Oh my God, I've totally forgotten about doing that play in church. That's right, I had a hard time saying Jesus.
Yes, we were only in second grade then. You were still speaking Spanish at home and you would always mess that part up. Jesus. Hey, fool. That's when I fell in love with you.
What are you talking about?
To answer your question, you were the girl next door. And to clarify, it's Miguel now.
Miguel? It was always Michael.
That's right. Love. It was until one day, dun dun dun, I found out I was Latino.
What in the world are you talking about?
Well, growing up, my papi wanted us to be like everyone else. Although my mom kept pushing him to continue speaking Spanish to us. The school said it would confuse us if he did that. And you know my dad, you must respect the teachers. So I guess we just respected the teachers and became Americanized. We ate mostly American food, you know, like hot dogs, pizzas, hamburgers, etc. Dressed American, acted American, and even spoke American.
You're being ridiculous.
No, it's true, really. Okay. Well, we did continue to write to my relatives in Colombia every once in a while in Spanish. Well, actually, it was my dad doing the writing, but we would draw pictures and sign our names.
Seriously?
Well, over time, I was not interested in writing anymore. And I took French in high school, so I became disconnected from that part of me. Then came college.
Yeah, so?
Well, I wanted to meet people when I came here. Gloria and I used to work at
Gloria?
Republicans
You know
together.
Gloria?
Yeah, she is the reason I'm at this party.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, she told me the best way to meet people was to join a club. She told me about a bunch of clubs, and Unión Latina was one of them. So when she told me about Unión Latina, I had no idea what she was talking about. When she told me that it was a club for people who were Hispanic, I told her that I would visit her with her sometime. She looked at me like I had 3 heads, hit me on my shoulder, and asked shockingly, "Isn't your dad from Colombia?" I think she likes me.
Ah, what are you talking about? Listen, forget Gloria. What does any of this have to do with calling yourself Miguel?
Oh, yeah, that thing. Well, I ended up joining the club because of that Gloria moment I just...
God, come on already.
I realized that I had no idea, no clue about half myself, my Latino self.
Wait, so changing your name makes you Latino?
No, it makes me aware. It makes me proud.
Oh.
So, do I call you Ruth, Luz, or Lucy?
Scene. Later at Cinco de Mayo party.
What's going on, Michael? Who is this fine glass of wine you're chatting with?
My name is not Michael. It's Miguel. M-I-G-U-E-L. Pronounce it right, or we can take this outside.
Whoa, slow down. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
As Giorgio says his piece to Miguel, he grabs Lucy's hand gently and asks her to dance with him.
Don't touch her. She's my date.
I'm not your date, and I don't want to be part of this chaos you two got going on.
This lady, do you want to go over to that bar and grab something to drink?
I'm sorry, I don't drink.
Can we go over to the pool and talk?
Okay, she said she is okay, so step off, homie.
Okay, we can go have a talk.
Luce walks off with Giorgio and leaves Miguel standing in the corner by himself. Giorgio takes Luce's hand in his and leads her to the pool.
I guess I scored a lead again.
Giorgio and Miguel were rivals in middle and high school, competing in basketball and for women. What Luce doesn't know is that she's part of a game that Giorgio is playing, and Miguel is only trying to protect her.
Fine, Michael.
It's not Michael, it's Miguel!
Giorgio and Luce walk out to the pool. Giorgio possessively puts his arm around her and pulls her in close to him.
So, can you tell me a little about yourself?
Well, my name is Lucy, and that's all you need to know.
Do you have a boyfriend, a lover boy?
Lover boy? No lover boy.
Well, I can be your lover boy.
I'm not looking for a lover boy.
Giorgio can't believe Luce has turned him down. He was never turned down by a girl, and his pride gets in the way. He pushes Luce in the chest.
You're gonna be mine.
What are you doing? Get your hands off
Shut
of
up, you
me.
stuck-up whore. Give me a kiss.
Get out of my face.
Luce gets up and runs through the party looking for Gloria. When she gets close to the door to leave, Miguel calls her name. Luce, Luce, wait. Luce turns around to see who is calling her. Miguel notices she is crying and runs to catch up with her.
What is wrong, Luz?
Giorgio, he tried to grab me.
Where's that punk?
I don't know, I just want to go home.
Wait over there with my friends until I handle Giorgio.
No, I want to go home. Please take me home.
Gloria, please take her home and see that she gets in the house safely.
Okay, yeah, I'll take her.
Miguel dashes back through the party to find Giorgio. When he finds him, he beats him up badly. The fight spills outside and the police show up. Miguel is taken away in handcuffs. Giorgio is taken to the hospital and decides to press charges. Scene. Back in Gloria and Luce's dorm room. The girls enter the room and Luce flops on the bed with a pillow on top of her head.
Okay, so you were right. Yeah, morning boys. What can I say? You're the smarter one after all.
Look, if this is your version of trying to cheer me up, well, it's working.
You know what they say about us, the spick and the spank.
Not funny.
Okay. So what are you gonna do now? You got a father and a sister and now a hero in jail.
Thanks for the reminder, Chica. Thanks for cheering me up.
Hey, I just wanted you to know if you needed someone to come support you in any way,
Sorry, Gloria. You have been an amazing friend. Throughout all this time, you have been there for me. Why does this life have to be so hard? It doesn't make any sense.
You know, if we just focus on all the hard stuff, the oppression, where would we be? Dead.
Lifeless. What's the point?
To make it better for the next generation. Oh, I mean, Luz, look at what your family did to get you here. Look at all the sacrifices they made for you. You're their light, Luz. Or should I say Luz?
Yeah, beautiful. Look, I remember seeing a photo of my parents in Venezuela. They looked so happy then. They looked so in love. They looked like they didn't have a problem in the world. Until they had us niños.
The infamous Latino guilt. You're right, it's all your fault that they're in this situation. Ay caramba, mujer. You take a look around you already. There are choices. There's always been choices. They got to choose what they wanted to do. They had a vision. I'm sure some stuff got in the way, but hey, your parents and your sister are still really good people, truly. And Michael isn't too bad either, Mujer.
It's Miguel now. And who does he think he is, all high and mighty? Then he had to go and get himself arrested, fool.
Yeah, fool, you're right. A fool for you.
What are you talking about? What idiot goes and beats up a fella only to land in jail?
One that's been in love with you since first grade.
What? We're just friends. Miss Siegel wanted just to help me out. How do you know all this?
Because when I mentioned your name during our Banana Republic days, you should have seen his face light up.
Well, I didn't.
That's right, and you didn't see his face either when he heard that G was trying to play you.
Say again?
You know, Mr. G is the biggest player and the biggest asshole. Miguel was trying to give you your space. But it was hard when he knew what G was trying to do to you. He was mad as hell when G crossed the line. He only wants to do what's best for you.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, you didn't know what? That you two could be a force to be reckoned with? Two strong Latinos battling this world together?
Maybe.
Yeah, don't you see? Both of you are the American dream. The force of both of you, you allied amigos, can do some serious damage to all the wrongs that have happened in your life.
There has been enough damage already, really.
Yeah, and it needs to stop. You can right the wrong, you both can.
You really think so?
Yeah?
Well, he is kind of cute.
Yes.
And he did help me out in first grade.
Yes.
Well, the least I can do is be a friend to him during this arresting time.
Scene, reading a book in Mariposa's daycare class. In this scene, Luz is 30, married to Miguel, and they have a 3-year-old daughter named Mariposa, named after Luz's mommy. Luz is visiting Mariposa's school and reading her a story she wrote.
Hi, boys and girls. As most of you know, I am Mariposa's mommy. But what most of you don't know is that I was once a student at this very school. I am here today to read the story to you. It's about a little girl who went on a journey between two worlds. She was frightened, scared, and confused. She wasn't sure which world she belonged to. You can see how she struggled like a caterpillar in a cocoon. Eventually, she emerges into a beautiful butterfly. Hello, my name is Luz Ramirez. Tengo mi esposo y mi hija Mariposa. Quiero mucho, mucho, mucho mi mami, mi papi, mi abuelo, mi abuelita, mis tías, mis tíos y ahora mis sobrinos y mis sobrinas. Y mis primos. Sí, me llamo Luz Ramírez.
Teach you our process and teach you how we came to write this with the women at Banana. So what you're going to be receiving is what we like to call power and control wheels. These were developed at the Institute for Family Services in Somerset, New Jersey, where I studied and did a postgraduate training. This is a progressive form of family therapy. It was created by Dr. Ria Almeida. You can go on their website at ifs.com or institutefamiliservices.com. So Dr. Almeida realizes and created a transformative social justice form of therapy around the idea that all relationships are based in power. Sometimes we use our power for good and it's okay in the relationship, and sometimes we abuse our power and then it gets horrible. So if you notice on one side of your paper, it says across the top the personal context of a heterosexual relationship. And on the other side, it's going to say the public context of abuse and misuse of power towards people of color. So Dr. Almeida created these wheels to help us give language to things that happen. And if you notice, we go in and out of the personal to the public all the time in our lives, right? We don't live in vacuums. We have our personal relationships, but we're always connected to larger systems. We just don't talk about them a lot, right? And sometimes it makes us feel crazy when larger systems are oppressing us and we can't quite figure out why it's happening to us, right? So she's also developed other tools. She has a wheel for the LGBTQ community, both personal and public. There's tools on masculinities, traditional female norms. But for this today, I thought we could take these wheels and start talking about what you saw on the scene. So let's start with the heterosexual wheel. taking a look at that wheel, and when you're ready, just raise your hand or just speak out. What are some things that you saw happening on that wheel that you saw in the heterosexual relationships in this play? We had Poppy and Mommy, we had Sandra and John, we had John and Luz. We even had Miguel and Luz and Giorgio. So let's start with Sandra and John. What were some things that you saw in the scenes with them that ended up on that wheel? Oh, you want to turn up the house lights? I'm sorry, maybe they can't read the papers. There you go. So, anybody, yes? Okay, what did you see with male privilege? What specifically did you see?
Just his language.
Okay.
Having her call him daddy and, calling him my baby girl. Threatening too.
Okay, so she just said that she saw using male privilege. He was expecting her to call him daddy. What was the other thing? Cursing?
Calling her baby girl.
Oh, infantilizing her. And then you said he was threatening.
Yeah.
What did you see him do that was threatening?
It was in a scene in the car.
Mm.
I forget exactly what he said, but it was in that scene.
So there's ways in which you don't even have to use physical violence. It can be a look. It can be complete stonewalling silence that can actually make you feel so terrified, right? And their age difference, right? He's 17, she's 13 or 12. What else did you see on that wheel? Yes, oh, I'm sorry. Didn't see you.
With physical abuse, with the threat of abuse, going back to that same scene, it's, your actions have consequences because I say to you, and you would be right or left.
Right. It's just too much. Very good. All right. So that's a great point. So now what I want to do is let's flip it over. And I want you to look at the wheel in terms of the public context of abuse and misuse towards people of color. So thinking about the story, the migration story of how the Ramirez family came here and the things that they experienced. Like, let's take the school scene with Ms. Siegel. Let's use that, and in that, use the wheel to give language to what you saw in her first day of school. Yes.
Well, it was white privilege again in terms of the expectation that we should conform.
The white privilege of the expectation of what?
Of that she needed to conform to their school culture.
Right, so that's a very good point, and I don't know if we have educators in here, I'm guessing we do since we're on the college campus, but I want to open that up to the whites in the room, because I think if you met Ms. Siegel, you'd be like, what a lovely woman, and she is. It's not that Ms. Siegel is out to personally get, anybody that's not white. I think for white people, there's a way in which we've had so many strong messages sent to us about how we're the experts of the situation. We know what we're doing, right? And all of these larger systems have told us that. School systems have told us that. Healthcare systems have told us that. The government has told us that. So that when we get in there, we think we're just helping, right? We're just helping you learn how to be here. And we have no curiosity around what might be going on for you. Yes?
So, and to follow it up, I think I can extend that I believe, yes, it is definitely a white characteristic culturally, but it's also a very American characteristic. And what I saw was more about conforming to the American ideal. Having spent a lot of time in other European countries, there is always, a sense of nationalist arrogance, but it's very American to assume we know the right way to do it, and everybody else who doesn't know that has something wrong.
Right, and you can make that connection to the founding fathers who were white.
Right.
That, that all started there, right? Did somebody else have a hand up here? I thought I saw somebody. So, what else did you see in terms of that wheel that was either happening in that scene or with others?
It was emotional abuse, really, because she was, and she was totally destroyed.
She was totally destroyed. It was like a humiliating moment, right? That stuck with her for the rest of her life, That you're right, absolutely. And again, I go back to, as educators, or when we are in a position of power with children, or in any system, do we ever have a meta? Little plug for our theater company. Do we ever take a meta on ourselves? Like, for instance, in your schools, when you teach in a school, or even if you work at a regular corporate job, do you ever have a team of people that you have this time to process stuff like this, about like how to talk to other whites about things, or how are we going to develop a policy that doesn't humiliate people, or do we do that? I don't have that experience. Like, I've worked a lot of jobs where we talk about it, that, well, we should be doing this, but it never really seems to get done. And then these policies are created, and it just becomes very overwhelming. I don't know, did anybody else have a different experience where they felt at their job they don't just have one day for diversity day? It's a through line throughout everything they do. I've never experienced that.
Well, I was just gonna say, I worked at this restaurant and it was pretty diverse. There were a bunch of different people there, and I think it was progressive. It was in the middle of Soho, and my hair was a little bit shorter than it is now, so I couldn't pull it back. And they told me that it was just unprofessional, and they made me go home, and I was like, I don't know what you want me to do, so like I had to braid it down for just to host. And it was like, the other girls can flip their hair, they have it long, like, I don't know, it's not, I don't know, I just didn't know what to do. I was like, I don't understand how it's unprofessional.
Yeah, so I want to link that to what you just said about being humiliated, because there's a way in which microaggressions, and I think Karen Gaffney's here shaking her head, because you did a huge thing on this campus, right, about Beyond the Image, about how a microaggression like that, like a tiny little paper cut, it's really just about her hair, right? It's unprofessional. There's code words that get said, and then it's like this humiliating moment that nobody is talking about really what is the true meaning here. What does it mean to be unprofessional? Is that a code word for something else? What do you think? Yes?
I work in retail, and I was on the opposite side. My manager had told me to watch out for a certain customer because him and his family had tattoos all over their body. And she was like, watch out for him. And I was like, it's not right. What if they're like the nicest people? So I go over and I try and help them. They're really the sweetest people. They're so funny. And when they leave after they purchase whatever they wanted, my manager was like, I truly apologize for saying that. They were so kind.
And now it needs to go further, because it's like, okay, well, that's great, you apologized in the moment. I'll give you, kudos for that. But now what are we going to do? Because obviously this is something, if you're a boss and you have power, this is something that you have a motivation for through line. So how do we stop that, or how do we reconstruct it? And then I also just want to go back to Fola's example and connecting it to what you say is, like, okay, so they say, and I'm sorry, was your boss, what race was your boss?
They were all white, but I mean, I didn't take it as I don't know. There were other black girls who worked there, but they all had relaxers. So it was just like, I get what you're saying. I know what you're saying. It's not that it's unprofessional. It's just I don't look like you, and the other girls do, so it's fine.
So we can even go further with that piece and say, like, somebody could say, oh, well, they just have a certain look for their restaurant. But really, then your job could be in jeopardy. Like, you see there that even with a microaggression of talking about hair, that there was this possibility that she wouldn't be employed. And she has to hold that stress. Whereas a white person, as me with my little relaxed hair, I've never had to worry about what my hair looks like when I walk in to get a job. I've never worried about that. Nor have I ever felt like that was going to be said to me. I don't have that experience. And so we have to think about the stress we hold or not hold in our privilege, right? Yes.
And on top of that, it costs about $60 every 3 months to get your hair relaxed. So if you don't have the money for it, you're just out of luck.
Right. Okay, so let's go back to the power and control wheels. So let's interject a new layer. We didn't see this in the play, but let's say, let's say Luz was lesbian. So what do you think, how it would have played out for her in being able to come out in her family, or being able to come out as she went to college, what do you think that would have been like for her? You're going to say? Okay, yes.
I think it would have been doubly exponentially more difficult because they're in Latino families, there's a strong sense of pride. And the fact that her father's already in prison has created this sense of shame on the family. And they may look upon her as creating a challenge, another challenge for the family that would affect their pride. I don't know that she would be disowned or she would be shunned, because I know lots of Latinos who are lesbians, but I think it would be this sense of a lot of guilt. There would be a lot of the guilt to overcome the shame that she may have placed on them temporarily that they would overcome.
So I want to link what you just said about culture and pride, and you said that in the Latino culture there's a pride. So this is a big thing that I love to talk about, because I think a lot of times, well, let me just ask you this question. What defines culture? Traditions. Write that down for me. Values, beliefs. What else? What else defines culture? Religion. How we dress, what foods we eat, the music we listen to. Pardon?
The way you view the world.
The way you view the world. So what defines patriarchy? Okay. Control and power of men having sort of historically in a culture having that, right? Generational. So I just want to talk about that. Those are actually two separate pieces. That sometimes we get it. We talk about culture and we think it's sort of, when really it's patriarchy, I think we're talking about. So when you're talking about pride, I think every culture has pride. In white cultures, whether it's German or Irish, there's that pride, and it's usually pushed by the men in the family, right? So we have to kind of piece that out and tease that out and talk about who gets to decide who gets to love, who doesn't get to love, So it's I think, very important to add that into our conversation. So I've talked a lot. What are some things that came up for you with the play? Yes?
I was really interested in the question of who decides what name you're called, and it seems to start in the beginning with the childhood story, but I imagine that it resonated with the women and the man quite profoundly. I mean, I teach there too, and there's a difference between the classroom space I can create where I can ask the women to identify a name that they want to be called, but in terms of the structure of the prison, that's not the name that they're called by the officers who only call them by last name. And so it just seems like something on one layer as simple as a name is so symbolic of power. And I was just sort of curious. I was imagining that the women that you worked with, felt, that was a really important piece of this. So I was just.
One of the things that we've noticed too, at least the women that are in our program, almost all of them choose to go by a different name inside than outside. And one of them even said in the conversation last week that, because we were just asking, how do you want us to say your names? How do you want us? One said, I want this name because the name that's on my birth certificate is the name that's in the newspapers for my crime. So it is a really important piece, and it keeps coming up lots of different ways. And I agree that it's probably something that really resonated about this because they really took it.
Yeah. I'm a teacher. I teach karate and other things. And one of my students, to get to the next belt, they have to have their teacher sign basically a permission slip saying that they're behaving at school. One of my students' teachers said that she was talking back to her because she wasn't pronouncing her name right. Like, she's Indian, it's hard to pronounce her name. And we said, you know what, you're doing fine, you get the test for your belt because it's her fault that she can't learn to pronounce your name correctly. And I was like shocked how she wouldn't even take the time out of a sentence. It's second, learn the name correctly, pronounce it properly. If you mess up, okay, it happens, try again.
No, that's a very good point. And what's the race of the teacher?
I think she was white, yeah.
So again, it just kind of links back to the microaggressions that we're talking about here, and then also the humiliation. I know we're about 5 minutes out, so there's a couple things I needed to tell you that the women from Edna Man wanted us to say to you, which is that, I'm sorry, sometimes I get very emotional talking about them. The scene about Sandra and John, where she takes the rap for him, was a very important scene for them to write, because I know when you read that, it might seem soap opera-y or dramatic, right? But it's not, because that is really a lot of their stories. And it's very heartbreaking to me that they hold the bag, so to speak, for the majority of the sentence, and what happens is that when they go to court, then the lawyers throw them under the bus, and the men do walk. Most, I'm not saying all men walk, I mean, trust me, I'm not, male incarceration too has a lot of the same themes that we're talking about. I'm not taking anything away from that. But we find that they take really difficult sentencing, and they wanted us to talk about that with you because there's this hope, and we're hoping that we can help start changing sentencing laws. The other thing that they wanted us to discuss with you is parenting from jail. That was a big, big part for them. They are, a lot of them, I think all of them are mothers. And,
yeah, and I think there's some, it's like 80% of incarcerated women are mothers, too,
yes,
which is another.
And so they were saying to us, we know in the male jails, women come to see their men in jail, and the waiting rooms are filled, and they said on visiting day for us, it's empty. Their men don't come see them, you know? And I don't know, I mean, we talk about that around masculinities and the emotionality and intimacy of a relationship, but so that's why it was important for them to put in there about mommy having gone to jail, also just what it was like for Poppy to try to be the man he wanted to be, and so I just thought I would open that up to all of you to see if there was anything that resonated with you about that, with sentencing laws and also parenting. Yes?
Were most of them single parents?
No. The women in our group, some of them had come from middle-class families that had gone to college, and one was married at the time. Some were not. But I think what has, in my own white privilege of dismantling it through this process, because it's been very healing for me too, you know, to be part of this with them and to learn about myself, is, you know, you have those stereotypes in your head about people who go to jail, but really I have seen a wide range of life experiences that ended up in jail that we don't normally talk about. And also terminating their parental rights while they're in jail. One woman was, thankfully her rights were not terminated, but that can happen to them, and they don't have any control over it.
Mentally or economically?
For terminating parental rights? Well, when they're in jail, like for instance in Mommy's story, they had kinship care. Like the grandmother was able to take care of the child. But let's say there were no family members that were going to come forward and take care of the child while the parent's in jail. Then the child would go into the foster care system, and because there is a rule, there's a policy, actually Bill Clinton put it into cycle. A child cannot languish in foster care for more than 21 months, 2 years, and there has to be a consecutive plan for them while they're in foster care for adoption. So at the end of that, if nobody, you know, the person's not out of jail or there's nobody to come, they terminate the rights of the parent and adopt them to the family. So in one regard, I know you can sit there and say, well, okay, well, if they're not coming out, like we have to think about the kid, but in another way, when you tie this back to colonization and white privilege, it's the fracturing of families, because in prison and in the foster care system, people of color are overrepresented. And so we have to start asking ourselves, why is that? Like, why are, you know, and I don't want to answer that for you, but I want you to think about that question as you leave here today of why is that overrepresentation happening, and how does that tie back to what you saw in this play? So I want to tell you the names of the women that helped us write this. It's Lakeisha Jones, Tiana Beckham, Adrienne Kraft, Bibi Chahada, Melvina McLean, Angela Guarnini, and Kimberly Coleman. Those are the 7 women, and we dedicate this today to them. So I want to and I know our time is tight. I want to thank Dr. Karen Jackson for putting this and on Denim Day, which is of course later this month, but this is what this day was for. And if you want to come up and see our jeans, the case that started this movement was that in the, I think it was 1992, a young girl, 16, was raped by her driving instructor in Italy, and the rape conviction was overturned because the Italian judge said that her jeans were so tight that she would have had to have consented to the sex to get them off to have sex with the driving instructor. So in solidarity, we wear jeans on April 23rd, and these jeans are painted with messages to say that what a woman wears is not an invitation to rape or should not condone it. However, 16 years after that happened, the Supreme Court in Italy did overturn that. But there was a 16-year period where the denim excuse could be used, which I'm sure really hurt a lot of people. So if you're interested in working with us, we're doing open auditions on Monday, April 13th, Thursday, April 16th, Hunterdon Building, room 122B. We'd love to see you there, and also we're on Facebook, and please come see us after the show. Thank you very much.